is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What's going on, everybody? And yo, another episode of No Other Pod. I'm Jimmy, along with my good buddy Daniel Kooser. Dan, what's going on, my friend?
Game week, bro. Total game week. Threw the flag at you. It's exciting, man. It's here. We no longer have to watch the Miami mess.
Messi. God,
there you go. And then now we actually get to play a meaningful game again and try to claw out of the dungeon that is our rankings right now.
Current table, yeah. It's been 3.5 weeks or something like that. 3 weeks since we played, and it's going to be almost 4 weeks by the time we play on Saturday night. It's weird because a bunch of teams played this weekend who got eliminated, and we're like one of the few teams that had to wait an extra week to play. But I guess that's because we already had so many games played so many more games than other teams that they're starting to catch up a little bit. So
exactly, they got to get they had most of them had like 2 games in hand.
A lot of them did, yeah.
So it's interesting, man. I'll be interested to see what the guys roll out this weekend and if they're ready to get back to business or what. Because
yeah, it's hard.
The way to go is up.
Yeah, it's hard to know. We're going to certainly talk about the game and what to expect and whatnot against San Jose coming up. It's a huge game. 9 games left in the season. We'll talk about what it takes to get in there. But I guess first I should ask: Are you melting in this heat? Are you surviving?
Dude, I hate it. You start as a homeowner, you kind of wonder why your windows fog up. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, no, it makes sense because like everyone's windows do that. It's hot outside and you got cool air inside. It's science.
Yes.
But then, oh, dude, as a new guy at my office, I have to park in like the 900 lot. There's like 100, 200, 300, and the 900 is the furthest one.
Okay.
But I like it because I'm like, cool, man, give me a nice little walk. Anything I can do to up the steps. I'm constantly going to the floor above me to go to the bathroom just to get some stairs in.
Good steps. Okay. I like it.
But today I was like, any way someone could bring my car around? Because
we need the valet.
Oh my God. I was going out there and I was like, is my heart okay? It's I didn't think my cardio was bad, but I'm not breathing too well.
It's rough. I saw on Sunday, the National Weather Service, I think it was of Topeka, tweeted out that the heat index in Lawrence reached 134.
That's right. Yeah, Chris is dead. Chris
is just no longer with us.
He's stuck to his computer chair. He's melted. It's dude. Weather is weather. It's the one thing we all share together, and so we talk about it all the damn time, right?
Yeah.
But it's I don't like when it's so freaking hot that places overcompensate with their air conditioner. Now, it's not their fault. It's the auto setting. And it's so freaking cold. We look like idiots bringing blankets to a movie in the summertime. You know what's up? I'll bring a hoodie.
Yeah, it's hilarious that you say that because I actually had a coworker today who was walking around with a blanket full on draped around her all day at work because it was so cold in City Hall. Yeah.
I was cold and I was like kind of excited to walk to my car right now.
Yeah, it's been wild. Haven't been able to let my dog outside for any more than like a quick bathroom break because I don't want her to die of heat stroke. And she can't regulate herself. She will run around for hours and not drink water, so can't let that happen. But watched my niece and nephew play soccer this weekend on Saturday, and I was like, how are we not canceling games for 5 and 6 year olds? This feels
what time was that?
Like one was at like noon and the other one was at 3:30.
See, I saw a lot of games got like bumped up to 8 a.m. and stuff. And I'm like, okay, when I played Rec League, those were my favorite. I was like, let's get it out of the way before it gets real toasty.
It's just, I saw a lot of games on Sunday, ended up getting canceled. And this week, more games and practices getting canceled. So I think people got the message from Saturday because all across the metro, people were playing on Saturday. It was wild.
Dude, kids are getting let out of school. I get the alert today, and I turn to my boss. I'm like, "Hey, kids are going home from school. So, what are we
can wrap this up.
What are we doing?"
Yeah. Well, apparently, Kansas City, Missouri, that like a lot of schools lost their air conditioning today, so they let their kids out so they didn't have to be stuck inside in school with no air conditioning. And then my first thought, as somebody who doesn't have kids, is so you let a bunch of kids out from supervised school where there was no air conditioning out into the outdoors where there is no air conditioning while their parents are probably at work, unable to go pick them up at like 1 in the afternoon.
True. Parents got to just call an audible and hope they don't have a job that makes them stay there all the time. Like, not everyone's so lucky to have jobs and bosses that can say, yeah, do what you got to do.
Right.
Those aren't for everyone.
It's pretty wild. I think it's going to stay this warm through like Friday, but it's supposed to cool down a little bit Saturday. So by the time we get to the sporting game on Saturday, it'll be a little cooler when we welcome San Jose into Children's Mercy Park. Now, San Jose, I think they just missed some of the crazy weather that was happening in California. They were a little bit farther north of the hurricane that happened.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
There's a hurricane that, well, by the time it hit LA, it was a tropical storm. But still, first time in history, a tropical storm hit Los Angeles. I'm from there. It's never happened. And while it's happening and things are flooding and everything's going crazy, oh, by the way, there's an earthquake in the middle of it. So
did water go down to the earth?
The world is angry and fighting back against the humans, I think is what.
Well, the earth was thirsty and was like
now I did see. I was fooled a little bit by a tweet, but this is how dire the situation was in Los Angeles.
No, you weren't fooled by this. Stop.
Someone tweeted out the metro station at Wilshire and Vermont is flooding, and I'm like, holy shit, because it looked like it was the metro station. It was not. It was the tram ride at Universal Studios.
See, you're a Disney guy. You don't do Universal enough.
Yeah.
You got tricked. You were just as bad as the freaking news broadcaster that slid into that person's mentions and was like, do you mind if we use this?
No.
And he's like, go for it.
I wasn't publicly posting it, but what I did see that was pretty hilarious was after Ted Cruz fell for it, there's a shark swimming down the highway of the 405. I saw someone post a video. They were like, got live footage of the shark on the 405, and it was Jaws from the tram ride, which I knew that one.
Yeah, that one's pretty obvious. That shark's fake as fuck.
But hey, I hope all of you who are listening, if you're here in the Kansas City area, are able to survive the hot weather. A lot of libraries, PSA, if you don't have air conditioning, are cooling centers, so you can go hang out in a library where they have air conditioning, get some water, and cool off. So
you sound like you work in city government or some shit.
I'm just passing on safety information. So.
I'm just a messenger for big guns upstairs, man.
But I am glad that by the time we get to Saturday, which is going to be Throwback night, celebrating the 2013 MLS Cup championship like we talked about before, it is going to be a little cooler because it would not be fun to be out at 7 o'clock at night when it's still 105 heat index watching a soccer game. So
no, that would not be fun at all.
But we did talk a little bit about Throwback night last week. We got a little bit more information this week, so we know a little bit more about what's happening. They are going to honor a number of players at halftime who are going to be there for a special on-field celebration. We know now who the players are going to be. I guess this was posted a long time ago, but we can recap who the players are going to be. Matt Beasler, Christian Duke, Kevin Ellis is making a return. First time he's been around in a while. Obviously, Benny Feilhaber, Josh Gardner, John Kempen, Eric Kronberg, Kyle Miller, Chance Myers, Paulo Nagamura, Jimmy Nielsen, Lawrence Olam, Ike Opara, Jacob Peterson, Brendan Ruiz, Seth Sinovic, and Graham Zusi. Some of those names, it gives me feelings to hear names like Eric Kronberg and Lawrence Olam coming back because it just takes me back to a totally different time, not just in sporting Kansas City history, but MLS history, because so much has changed since then.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting, man. That's exciting to see everybody out there. A little halftime recognition. Halftime's not very long, so I can only imagine what's going to be done, but it's pretty neat. I kind of hope they'll have some merch curated around the event and see what happens. Maybe some giveaways.
That'd be fun. Bobblehead or something, but
totally doubtful.
Not claiming it. They did say that Sporting Style will release a commemorative capsule collection on Throwback Night featuring items celebrating the 10-year anniversary. So we have not, at least at the time of this recording, seen what the commemorative capsule collection is or what that means. I know you talked about last week wanting to get maybe another reprint of that State Line jersey from 2013. Be pretty cool.
Pretty cool, right? That'd be cool. That's like the only jersey that I have that is not the authentic one. I have the replica. Yeah.
Okay. I wish I would have bought the replica one back then because it might still fit me. But
That's true. The replica is not as form-fitting, so.
Well, even the authentic jerseys over the years have gotten a little bit bigger. But back in 2013, it was tight.
Dude, I had the black Argyle one authentic, and I got to tell you, not made for guys with biceps at all. If you have the littlest bit of bicep curl representation, that thing is going to cut off circulation to your fingers.
Yeah, for sure.
I should put that on and just come do the podcast in it.
Just look ripped.
I'm just over here wearing a condom. Sucked into this thing.
Do you have a player? I'm putting you on a spot here. I have a player in mind, but do you have a player from that era, like 2013, 14, 15, Sporting Kansas City, who you would consider your favorite?
Oh, man crush on Benny Feilhaber all day. And the fact that he's still very much affiliated with the club, and I can go see him at any time from afar, not a creepy, too close for comfort kind of way, but from afar as he's a coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. I took to him a lot and his personality, and he would change up his hairstyles. I would like change my hairstyle after him because I'm a nerd. And then saw him at a beer festival one time, and I was just like, hey man, and he's like, how do I know you? And I was like, I don't know. There's no way you should.
Was this before the Victory Project stuff that we did?
No, we were in it. This might have been part of the Victory Project. I don't know. Brandy was there.
Okay.
And Brandy introduced me and Marissa to Espinoza, and we just chatted for a while. And then I tried to have a conversation with Jimmy Madranda while we were waiting for the porta potties, and that didn't go well because his English was so-so.
And your Spanish was so-so?
No, my Spanish was no. It was bad. Sesanovic came in. That was a hell of a time. That's when players were more accessible back then, where you really had to enjoy that, because that kind of stuff was shut down pretty fast.
It was. And I remember, I was a relatively new Sporting fan because I was new to Kansas City, but that was a time when I would go to just about every sporting event I could, Sporting KC event I could possibly go to. If it had a kit launch party, because it used to be a big deal where you'd go down to a physical location and there would be a whole event and the players would come out and it'd be a physical reveal. And I remember standing.
We went to No Other Pub.
There was a No Other Pub reveal one time.
Brittany came with you?
For sure. There was another one that was near the Uptown Theater in a warehouse, and it was the year they did the Plaid, I think it was. And I
was at that one.
The lights were off, and then the players came out and stood on platforms. There was smoke machines, and the lights came up, and I was 2 feet away from Seth Stanovic as he's standing on a platform revealing this new jersey. Then you can buy it right then and there. It was a whole vibe. It was really cool.
I didn't know you for shit then, though. No, I know I was there with someone else, but yeah, that was quite the setup there. They don't do stuff like that anymore.
They don't, and I know it's logistically harder as the league gets bigger and players get bigger and more popular and whatnot. But I guess since we're talking about Throwback game, it's just reminiscing about before MLS got too big, before what it is now.
They allowed fans to ideally be these sporting victors that you could, volunteer at different events. Like you and I think we poured beer with Matt Beasler and Dom Dwyer, and then they tried to get us to work for free at the games,
which we did for a little bit, but
I never did. You did.
I poured beer at the game and learned that I don't want to do this. I want to watch the game.
It's this is you're working concessions now. And it's what's happening? That's free labor. This feels illegal.
It was a fun time in sporting history. Just, it felt like that was the peak of Sporting's on-field performance and their off-field popularity. The rebrand was really hitting its stride. The marketing was just phenomenal, really tapping into what it means to be a Kansas City fan. And they were in it competitively on the field. It was just such a fun time. The Cauldron was banging. It was really cool. It just Tech Nine would come there and do concerts before the game and sing songs that felt awkward. JoCo audiences didn't quite vibe with Tech Nine, but
they would use our Radke, who does our intro music for this podcast, they they were on their commercial that like aired during the Super Bowl or something and announced their jersey and shit. Like, how cool.
Yeah, it was fun. So I am excited to revisit that time. It comes, I guess, at a pretty decent time for sporting now when you need something to grasp onto, because as we'll talk about here in just a little bit, there's quite the hill to climb if sporting want to remain competitive for the rest of the season and get back into the playoff picture. So, it's good to look back and remember where this club has been. And even though it's a lot harder to get there now because there's like almost twice as many clubs in the league as there were back then, know that this team has done it multiple times before. And obviously that's the goal, is to get back to MLS Cup and win it. So yeah, it should be fun. But let's take a quick break and then we'll come back. We'll talk San Jose, what we think might happen against the Earthquakes on Saturday, and what needs to happen the rest of the season. But we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Hey, so I embarrassed myself in front of 300 people on Friday night.
Oh, no.
So I had an improv show, and I had to do speed dating with a young lady, me and two other guys, and I was Kermit the Frog. And I can't remember what my ailment was. It was something silly. I can't remember. But I'm doing a little Kermit voice, and then I start referring to her as Bert. I have now transformed into
to
Ernie. I have now crossed universes. Kermit does not interact with Bert and Ernie. They are all Muppets. That is correct.
Yes.
They're probably voiced by the same people.
Could be.
But afterwards, my buddy Ted goes, when did you realize that you weren't doing Kermit? And I go, right now. I just realized. Absolutely embarrassing. But dude, comedy, you got to fall flat on your face. You know what I mean? You got to fall hard.
Sure.
So
you get better.
I did.
Yeah. You should have just rolled with it. You'd been like, oh, that's obviously the Jim Henson multiverse that I was working in.
Yeah, just making job.
Have you not heard of improv, sir?
Yeah. We're just making it up here, guys.
Yes, and hey, it happens. I'm sure you're not the first person to confuse Kermit with a Sesame Street character. He's probably been on Sesame Street.
Oh, yeah, he's been on there for sure. Why am I sounding like a fucking geek about Muppets? Oh, yeah. Kermit's been there.
Before we get to the San Jose game, Sporting also just opened away ticket requests for St. Louis City on September 30th. You trying to get one of those and get down there?
I am, but it just popped into my head. I was Kermit the Frog into BDSM. Yeah. So use your imagination of things I was doing. It got pretty spicy. Yeah.
No? As long as there's a consenting frog and pig involved, then it's fine.
So yes, I would like to go to the St. Louis game because I'm not trying to buy this absolute markup of a kangaroo court they have going on. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's pretty wild. I mean, I was down there at the first game with our own Christian Gumminger, who was, did a great
Gumminger, bro.
I do it every time.
What are you doing? He listens. He's going to be so mad.
I was just direct messaging with him right before we were recording, too. Sorry, Christian. Gumminger.
All right, man. Hey, real friends, and then there's you.
So that was awesome. But yeah, the resale on those tickets, it was like $200-$300. So
what are they? Do they have Messi? Are they Miami? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, don't get me started on St. Louis, because this is what we were messaging about today, Christian and I, about how stupid St. Louis's goals to expected goals ratio is. Because
they're wild.
Man, I'm telling you, what they're doing, I know I've been saying it all season long, doesn't feel like it should be sustainable. And then they go out and they throw, a 6 spot on Portland, and it's stupid. But if you look at the goals to expected sorry, not Portland, Austin, green trees, sure, it's easy. But if you look at the expected goals, St. Louis had 1.51 to Austin's 3.54, and yet St. Louis won the game 6-3. Somebody sold their soul to the devil. That's the only explanation.
They played a handful of games at the beginning of the season, and you were like, it'll be fine. It's not sustainable. They're not good. Their DP is a goalkeeper or something. We were talking a lot of shit, right? And then here they are just crushing it, dude. Just running the table. It's insane.
Would you consider it a success on this season? Because Christian kind of threw out this hypothetical to me, and I might buy this. If Sporting sneak their way into the playoffs, and let's say we get in on the last seed, St. Louis gets in that first seed, we could lose in the second round, but if we knock St. Louis out of the playoffs after their season, you take it, right? At this point?
Oh, that'd be sick. I mean, that'd be absolutely phenomenal. They'd be so mad. We'd have to freaking rush out of there. It'd be a bloodbath.
It'd be in St. Louis too. And
yeah, it would.
At this point, they're the number 1 seed because LAFC hasn't been able to keep up with them, and it doesn't make sense because St. Louis, last I looked, they're almost 17 goals above their goals to expected goals ratio. Like it's dumb. I hate it. But
everyone should be getting really excited about this stretch of games though, because like we just had a pretty extensive Leagues Cup, World Cup break. MLS been on a little bit of a hiatus here. Not all these teams have played as much as Nashville and Miami did, obviously.
Right.
But everyone's got about 9 or so games left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about to get pretty hot and hectic. That's exciting, dude. This is the gold rush. This is everyone trying to make it into that extensive playoff selection,
It's pretty wild. Yeah, San Jose is coming to town. Currently, they're sitting 5th place. They have 35 points through 24 games, so they have 1 game in hand. They're an interesting team because
they're good.
Their defense is solid. Their offense is middle of the road. I mean, they've only scored 29 goals on the year. We've scored 2 more goals than they have on the year, and we're in 11th place. They are in 5th place. So they certainly have a little bit to be desired in terms of offensive production. Now they have decent players. Jeremy Ebobisse is a pretty good striker. Christian Espinoza, Cade Cowell. So is Cade Cowell still there? I think he is. He was the subject of some transfer rumors, but I don't think that ended up coming to fruition. So they have some firepower there, but their defense is pretty solid. They're just like solidly adequate across the board. Now, what they have done, which is a big reason why they're in 5th place, they're 7-1-4 at home. They're 2-6-4 on the road.
Let's go.
This is a huge opportunity.
They're on the road. Take them.
Absolutely. And if you look at, they just played a game in Vancouver. They just won that game on the road in Vancouver, thanks to a Christian Espinoza assisted by Jeremy Ebobisse goal, 1-0. But again, solid defense, not a particularly impressive offensive performance, 1 goal. Of course, winning on the road is good, but if they're only scoring 1 goal on Saturday against Sporting KC, I feel pretty decent about Sporting's chances to come out of there with 3 points.
Look, you're going to have Alan Pulido pretty hungry. Not sure if you guys remember, he just set the last 2 games. So, well, not the last 2, right? Just the 1, I suppose.
Well, yeah, he got an extra. He would have been No, he said 2 games.
Was it 2 games?
Yeah, he was suspended for 2 games.
Oh, because he didn't play in against his old club.
It's been 84 years since we've watched Sporting Kansas City play.
I forget what even happened. I haven't been out there for a bit. I can't go this weekend. Like it's a hell of a time, man. And hey, you know what? When you're nominated for an acting award, what are you gonna do?
But
you gotta get the ceremony, bro.
That's true. Alan Pulido, he's gonna be hungry for goals. Willie Agata looked great, and now he's had 3.5 more weeks to continue to get into better shape and better form. So I feel a lot better about being able to bring Willie Agata off the bench to spell Alan Pulido if need be.
They've been practicing in this stuff, dude. They've been training in this weather and this humidity. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, is it like altitude though? Like if you practice at altitude, you're gonna get more comfortable with altitude. So why not practice in this heat? I don't think that's the same.
I mean, that's what Houston tries to say, and it's like the only explanation for why the Dynamo tend to be as good as they are at home, because it's certainly not the fan atmosphere that gets created there.
Yeah, true. Very true. Looking like Arizona Cardinals playing the Chiefs. Nobody showing up.
That was rough. Earlier this year, in April, Sporting did play San Jose, and we lost 3-0. That was on the road. That was not
good
great.
times.
But
we're better now, though. We're better.
We are better. Last time San Jose came to town for an MLS game was August 27th of last year. This is August 26th of this year that the game is. So almost 1 year to the date. And Kansas City won last year 1-0. So, I think this is definitely, I think we kind of almost have to call this a must-win game. And I know that almost loses its luster or any sort of meaning, because mathematically it's not. And I've said that a couple times this year. But if you look at the fact that Sporting is behind the 8 ball in terms of how many games they've played compared to the teams ahead of them, and a team like San Jose that is ahead of them is so bad on the road this year, you got to go out and you got to get the full 3 points, if for no other reason than to give the fans a morsel of hope that you might be able to push for a playoff spot in the last 9 games.
You have to. I don't want to say every game's a must-win, because that's not true, but they're all very important, and you'd like to get points in every game available. So,
yeah.
I think we're good, man. I think we're going to be good. I think we're excited. I think the players got to be excited.
Well, and obviously I didn't watch the Vancouver-San Jose game, so I can't sit here and break down for you exactly how each team looked or whatnot. I'm doing a little bit of box score analysis here. But if you look at the stats for how San Jose played against Vancouver in Vancouver this last weekend, even though San Jose won 1-0, Vancouver, possession, 58% to 42%. That's kind of how Sporting does. Shots. Vancouver had 19 shots to San Jose's 3. 8 shots on goal to San Jose's 1. This, by all accounts, appears to be a game. And if you look at the expected goals, 1.4 for Vancouver, 0.4 for San Jose. And the vast majority of those came on the goal they scored. If it weren't for that goal that they scored, which had a pretty good jump in XG, they would have been at less than 0.1. So Vancouver seemingly played a pretty solid game. San Jose seemingly played a pretty poor game. I wouldn't be surprised if San Jose comes into Kansas City with a similar strategy. Park the bus, very defensive-minded, let the other team get possession, and probably try to force Sporting Kansas City to just whip in crosses and hope instead of attack up the middle.
That'll bother us. You come in and park the bus, that will frustrate us and bother us. So you hate to think that you're a team that does that, but if it gets you a result away from home, why wouldn't you give it a shot?
Yeah, and if you're San Jose sitting in 5th place right now, 35 points, 4 points above the playoff line, you only have 2 wins on the road. You probably got away with one just this past weekend in Vancouver, knowing that, we probably shouldn't have won that. You're totally happy leaving Kansas City with a single point, getting a draw on the road.
Oh, sure.
They could have a smash and grab, steal 3 points on a counter, or give up some stupid penalty. But this game is there for Sporting KC's taking. San Jose will have to travel. They will have just played a game. This is a crucial game to jump up to 29 points from 26. And depending on how things go, that could leave you just a couple of points off of a playoff spot, because Minnesota currently is the team in 9th place and they're at 31 points. So depending on what happens, this very well could be a game that shoots Kansas City right back up into that playoff conversation.
I know. We're not far from this situation here that we need to be in. So this could be a big one. And it's a home game, dude. Everyone's going to be out there. It's a celebration. I mean, even the players know, hey, it's like when your upperclassmen are coming back to town or whatever, and maybe you're a senior now, but they were a senior a couple of years ago. You want to play well in front of them,
right?
I've always been like that, man. I don't know if anyone's ever watching me sing a solo or play in a game. It's like you want to show out for them.
Absolutely. So here's hoping that they might be able to do it. Now, Kansas City Soccer Journal, Chad Smith, who, I'm sure people know from Twitter, and he's been on this podcast before. He wrote a little article that's just trying to look at the playoff math and figure out where does Sporting need to get in the last 9 games, looking at some historical data to make it into at least that ninth place spot. You obviously skipped the 2020 year because that was the COVID shortened season. If you take an average of the points from, since 2015, not counting 2020, it's about 41 points Sporting would need to get to. So in order to do that, you need to get 15 points from the last 9 games. So at minimum, you're looking at 5 wins at least. 5 wins, 3 losses, and a draw gets you kind of like right there. There's not a lot of wiggle room here, but if you only get to 41, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you, because the last 3 years, that 9th place point total has been higher than years before. In 2021, it took 45 points to get to 9th place. And currently Kansas City are at 26. So you might need to get as many as 20 points from these final 9 games. And if you're going to do that, then that's going to basically require you to win 5 or 6 games, lose no more than 1 game, and draw the other 2 or 3. Very, very little margin for error. So it's going to be tough. And if you look at the games that Sporting Kansas City has left to play on the schedule, there's certainly opportunities there, but you still have to play St. Louis a couple more times. That's going to be tough. Nashville, this is not easy. So sucks. If I run through the last 9 games on the schedule, do you want to do just like without thinking, gut check, win, loss, draw, what your gut feeling is, and see where we end up?
Okay.
So Saturday, home against San Jose, win, loss, draw.
Win.
Okay. Home against St. Louis, September 2nd.
I don't like it. It feels like a loss.
We'll say loss. On the road against Miami, granted, Leo Messi may not be there. We don't know, but September 9th in Miami.
Let's say win.
We're going to win. Okay. On the road in Minnesota right after that.
Draw.
Okay. Home against Nashville.
Draw.
Okay. Home against Houston.
Win.
Okay. On the road in St. Louis.
Loss.
Okay. On the road in Salt Lake.
I don't know. Draw, I guess.
Draw. Okay. And then at home against Minnesota on decision day.
Win.
Okay. So that's 12. You've gotten us right to 15 points. 4 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. If that plays out, we're right there on that line. And there are some and there's some wins in there that are questionable on the road in Miami. So the point of that is it's not going to play out exactly that way, obviously, but this is going to be tough.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So I don't know. It's it'll be fun though. Hopefully they're at this point. I just hope they're in it until at least middle to end of September, closer to October. So there's still some interest.
Agreed.
So we'll see. Let's take another break here real quick. And then I do want to get your thoughts on Leagues Cup and Open Cup and sort of, what your take is there. So we'll take another break and we'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network. Make sure you download our new app. Find it on the App Store or Google Play. Just search KC Sports Network.
Not only do I got to be there to potentially accept an award this Saturday, but I got to sing and dance a song from the show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the whole thing. Now I'm like, okay, where's the words to this mother? Need to get some refresh here.
This is from Something Rotten?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since it closed?
Oh, like April 1st, I guess.
So yeah, you're going to have to bust out the old script and make sure that you know what's what.
It's been a bit. So
that's fine. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
We'll expect the full report next time when we record.
Well, the thing is, when you win something, you got to go be uncomfortable and give a speech. I don't like giving speeches, man. I really don't.
No.
You never know what to say. You feel like a dum-dum,
Yeah.
We'll
it's, well, You're an improv master. I trust that you'll be able to come up with a good speech.
Oh, I'll say some sappy shit and have everyone bawling.
Well, good luck. We will be rooting for you on Saturday.
No, thanks a lot.
So the Leagues Cup is now over. I think we all thought overall it was a fun tournament. I'm going to miss it. There were some wild things that happened.
I'm ready for next year. Like, it sounds fun. As soon as they announced the group stage, like, I won't have the same reaction I had this year. This year I was like, meh, I don't really care all that much.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I kind of care. It's kind of cool.
I think going straight to penalties is a great way to build some excitement, especially in the group stages and even in the knockout. I will say...
And save their bodies.
I will say, I think there is a case to be made if you get to the final, maybe in the final only, playing an extra 30 minutes.
I agree.
That felt a little funny to watch this incredible Miami-Nashville battle back and forth, and then it's just like, okay, now it's kind of a crapshoot. But
yeah, it sucks. And that went to... I did not watch it, if that's what you're going to ask.
Okay.
I could not improv, but I think that kind of saw highlights and stuff and all that. But it's, good for Messi, I guess. Now they get to go win U.S. Open Cup as well. It's just not betting. Nothing's fair anymore.
That's true. Did you see the highlight of the Messi goal against Nashville?
Listen, you can't even say it's shitty defending because they are defending. They are doing their job.
Right.
There were 5 of them. You see 5 yellow shirts placed around him. It's not like they're just giving him all the space in the world.
No.
They were closed in, and he ends up like bending it into the upper left corner.
Yes.
And it's like, no, you can't talk shit on these defenders because that's what defending looks like.
And that's after Walker Zimmerman already got his whole foot around the ball, deflected it back the opposite direction from the way Messi was running. Messi somehow, in stride, regains control, taps it around Zimmerman, sets it up on his favored left foot while there's 5 Nashville defenders and sends it through a little 8-inch window that he bends perfectly into the upper 90 into the only spot where the Nashville keeper couldn't stop it. It did not make sense.
Why did Dax McCarty get his jersey? Is that because he was guarding him the whole night pretty much?
Yeah, and Dax is probably the most, veteran MLS guy on Nashville. If it's not him, it's probably going to be Zimmerman. But, I
just assumed
Haney Mukhtar,
battle,
that could be. Haney Mukhtar is obviously the best player on Nashville, so that was the one I expected. But
gotcha.
We know Dax because Dax's wife tweeted out the picture of him holding up the jersey.
I know, and then he retweeted and said, "I'm sorry, but this is going above the bed."
Yeah, that's what I'm going to look at every time.
We're lucky to have this phenomenal soccer player in our country, in our league. I'm not even really mad. I'm just amazed. I am annoyed. I am annoyed that this keeps happening. I'm like, can no one stop this man? Like, it's because he saves his runs, dude. He doesn't sprint anywhere. He just kind of moseys around, and then when the ball comes to him, boom, he takes off. And he got energy to kick off.
For sure. It's so funny when somebody else on the team steps in front of his, like when he clearly has an idea and Jordi Alba has an idea and Sergio Busquets has an idea and they're trying to set something up and Alba has the ball at the touchline and he's cutting it back and Messi's making his late run and then Joseph Martinez is like, not today. And he steps in and intercepts it and tries to shoot and sends it out wide. And Messi's just looking at him like, bro, I'm here. There's no one on me.
So they're not on the same page with that at all yet.
Not yet. I mean, some of it they're getting there, but there was one pretty clear. And Jordi Alba, he was mad because he went and he punched the advertising board because he clearly there's a hilarious video angle where Alba sends the ball back and you see Messi lining up the kick and there's nobody on him, and then Joseph steps in the frame and takes the shot, intercepts it one time. It's
man. Well, there's still. Dude, think about it. They haven't had a full week of training without a game somewhere in between.
Right.
Because he came and then boom, was playing meaningful games.
He scored in every game. I saw someone say that if you had bet $100 on Lionel Messi to score a goal in his first game and then took your total and just continued to bet on him scoring a goal at whatever the given odds were in every game after that, you'd have $5,500 right now. Because of him just continuing to score so many goals in that bet, hitting over and over again. But he's awesome. It will be interesting to see if he plays against Sporting Kansas City or if he's with Argentina. But at least next year, hopefully, he will be here. Now, what I do hope is I hope that the Sporting Kansas City season ticket reps are not trying to sell season tickets in the same way that New England Revolution sales reps are trying to sell season tickets, because I have someone who sent me an email that they received from, I'm going to leave it an unnamed New England Revolution sales rep because I'm not trying to put this guy on blast. This was their sales email. Hi, so-and-so. Did you see Lionel Messi win Inter Miami's first title win against Nashville FC in the League's Cup final? Messi scored 10 goals in 7 straight appearances for his newest club dressed in pink. That means you have a 100% chance to see the Argentinian score here at Gillette Stadium next season. Secure your seats for the big game, blah, 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 sales. But I'm like, you can't be selling season tickets for your own team by being like, yeah, he's going to come beat us and you probably want to see it. And there's 100% chance, which also I was like, if he doesn't score now, do they get a refund? But
what the hell? So that was a New England advertisement?
That was an email from a New England sales representative to a prospective season ticket member trying to sell New England Revolution season tickets.
This probably needs to go viral because, like, what the hell? How could you, if you're a fan, how could you fathom that? Like, I mean, dude, we're not guaranteed to play Messi next year. So there's no way Sporting would ever market that.
They're an Eastern Conference team, so he will be at Gillette, assuming it's not in an international window.
Unbelievable. I could see if Miami was like, hey,
of course,
he has scored in every game. Want to watch him score more?
Right.
Oh, man.
It's pretty wild. I know there was Dick's Sporting Goods in Nashville that were selling Inter Miami Lionel Messi jerseys at their locations. So
money talks, baby. Money talks. You know, you got someone of his caliber, and so you market the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
And like you said, they play in the Open Cup semifinal tomorrow night.
Oh, is that this week?
This week, yeah. It's literally Wednesday night. So it's gonna be interesting. Inter Miami plays FC Cincinnati. Is that right? Yeah, in FC Cincinnati. So it's going to be at TQL Stadium in Ohio. So Lionel Messi's about to travel to Ohio for the first time in his life. But they could win Leagues Cup, Open Cup, and it might be a bigger ask for them to get to the playoffs than even Sporting Kansas City, but potentially MLS Cup.
They can still make playoffs too, though, right?
Yeah, they can. I mean,
they haven't lost yet with him there.
That's true.
They would have. They would have drew a couple games. So there is that. It's like, you're not going to get penalties to win a game this time. Like, you got to win.
Yeah.
I want to be the first team. Like, I'd like for him to play when Sporting goes down there so we can be the first team to beat him.
We have a habit of doing that to teams when they're opening new stadiums. We tend to be the first team to defeat them in their new stadium, or we go frustrate Zlatan in LA and get a result against a team with Zlatan Ibrahimovic and the LA Galaxy. So it's possible.
Even if we drew against them and shut him down, like, I don't know. It's anything's possible in this league, man. Messi might be like, whoa, I have never seen someone like Graham Zusi. This is crazy.
Roger Espinoza just punched me in the face.
That's fair. That's who has a problem with that? Anybody? Any objections?
It's happened before.
That's what he does.
But now
Brad Davis.
Lionel Messi. It is funny to watch the referees try to officiate Lionel Messi because clearly they have been told, do not let him get hurt because he is the moneymaker. But
they're saying that's not fair.
It's not. But it seems like, there's some preferential treatment.
I learned a lot watching that quarterback series on Netflix. You watch that?
I actually haven't watched it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things.
See, I finally did it, basically because my wife was watching it, and I was like, you hate football. What are you doing? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, it kind of makes me like football. And
she loves that Kirk Cousins guy.
Yeah, right.
He's just so gosh darn cute.
I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I mean, they were a little heavy on the worship aspect of their life, so that's fine.
Does his own research.
But as soon as you saw Marcus Mariota get benched and Kirk Cousins lose in the playoffs, it was 2 full episodes of Mahomes and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is you heard some like conversation talk between him and referees and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And how they didn't just treat him like a run-of-the-mill player, kind of treated him like he's a superstar, which he is.
It happens in all sport.
Yeah. Also realized I wish I had a golf course in my backyard. That's kind of cool. Wish I had a whole room for all my shoes. That'd be sick.
Yes, it'd be cool. So
check it out, man. It's good.
I will, but
it doesn't break the formula. By the way, it doesn't change the formula. Is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
It's just a regular run-of-the-mill football thing.
But
no, it's nothing new.
A little more access.
Yeah.
So yeah, Messi clearly getting some preferential treatment, but we'll get to see it, potentially hands-on in a few weeks here. I do want to ask you before we sign off for the week, have you seen the pictures of the League's Cup trophy?
Yeah, I think I made something like it in medals class back in 8th grade.
I understand that this is the first time they've awarded the trophy in this capacity, and it's probably not going to be on the level of MLS Cup or the EPL trophy or the Stanley Cup or whatever. But I saw this thing, not only how it looks, but when they handed it to Lionel Messi and he calls Yedlin over because he gave DeAndre Yedlin the captain's armband and called him back over, whatnot. They looked like they could have grabbed that thing with 2 fingers and just like wheeled it around like it was as light of as a feather, because it looked and felt like it was built out of aluminum foil.
Like it could have crunched at any minute. And you have someone like Leo Messi raising this trophy, which is more like I don't know, dude. It was like shorter than the Orange Bowl, for God's sakes. It was
it looked like one of those metal like teapot things that you see on the shelf of like a thrift store that somebody donated a long time ago. It doesn't look good.
It looks like it was like, like it was just done welding or whatever, and you got to take your hammer to forge it. You got clink clink. You're forging it into something, and they just didn't bother to make it symmetrical,
right?
Because it looks like a giant just crunched it.
It looks like someone's like pelted it with golf balls or something, or just thrown softballs at. That's what it looks like. It looks like it's the bowl at like a carnival where they're like, if you throw 3 softballs in it, you're gonna win fries, and it's just been pelted with softballs over
it. It looks like it has extensive hail damage.
Yeah.
And there's something scribbled on it as well.
On the inside,
looks like some toddler was like practicing their handwriting.
It's not good. They etched Inter Miami CF on like the inside lip, and it's not good. It looks terrible.
It's like hand etched though, right? It looks freaking scribbly. Yeah. It's not like they got a laser engraver and did this very special thing.
But they also hand etch on the Stanley Cup to give it to the team that wins it right before, and they have somebody who is able to do it in a way that looks good. Like it. Yeah, I think it's just
not this caveman style.
No,
chisel.
And I also think part of the problem is where they tried to etch it in the League's Cup. There's no good way to like rest your hand or do it or whatnot. So on a little like plaque that they do it for the Stanley Cup, it's a lot easier. I'm just saying this is a terrible trophy. It's a terrible look. Lionel Messi probably was like, really? This is what I'm. I mean, he looked.
That's
happy.
why he was like, DeAndre Yedlin, you're the captain now. You should raise this monstrosity.
And I did see a hilarious tweet where it's like DeAndre Yedlin's really showing his time with Tottenham Hotspur because he doesn't know what to do once he's handed a trophy. Clearly, he has never experienced this.
Oh, boy. Real. On the other hand, all jokes aside, really cool of Messi to be like, hey, man, you're the captain of this team before I came here. Here's your armband. Let's go do this together.
For sure.
And that's a moment you'll always have, man. It's like, dude, are we best friends now? Like, this is awesome.
It was cool. He gave him the armband, made sure that he was there toward the end and call him over. It was a cool thing.
Is he the nicest guy, Leo Messi? Is he just like a good fucking person?
And imagine if...
I want to hate him. I want him to be an asshole.
Right. Cristiano Ronaldo, if he was here in Kansas City and won League's Cup with Sporting Kansas City, would not be calling over, Roger Espinoza or whoever to be like, oh, hey, he'd be like, no, this is my time.
He'd be like, I'm raising this little Fisher Price thing. This is all me.
He would have had the league's trophy be just the bust of his face that, they messed up.
People would hate him, but it's tough to hate Messi right now. It's tough to hate Miami in general. I just think it's a really cool resurgence of their game down there.
There are rumors that because of the success of Lionel Messi, that the league is looking at adding a 4th designated player for next year and raising the salary cap. I don't expect it to be raised as much as some of the rumors online are, which is almost like 100% increase. It's not going to be that much. But I think the possibility of adding a fourth designated player spot or limiting the restrictions around how you use those 3 young designated player spots, I think those might be realistic for implementation next season, which could then directly help Sporting Kansas City, who just, rumor has it, is about to re-sign Alan Pulido to a DP contract. You might be able to re-sign Alan Pulido, and if they add another designated player spot, still go out and find another attacker, another midfielder, whoever you need as a designated player.
I mean, dude, think about it. Like, someday Christian Pulisic will be here. So someday, Tyler Adams will come on back. It's people that are doing their stuff in Europe. Like, the MLS is becoming pretty hot.
I just hope that they continue to look for that young, like particularly from South America, the talent they found with Miguel Almiron. Joseph Martinez came from Colombia, even though he's playing in Europe. There's just a lot of young South American talent that can make their way to Europe by way of MLS, and I like that. And I honestly hope that a team like Sporting Kansas City starts looking at that a little bit more as a pipeline for young talent, as opposed to getting some of the older, more established guys that it seems we tend to go after.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Wow. So fun.
Well, do you have anything else, my friend, for our good listeners this week?
No, dude. Soccer's back. Let's get it. It's going to be fun.
It's back. And it's not going to be around for long. I mean, there's 9 games left in the season. Hopefully we got more after that in the postseason, but enjoy it while it's here. And looking forward to cooler weather ahead and more soccer ahead. But thank you so much for listening and sticking with us while we had this break in Sporting Kansas City games. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NoOtherPod, at Dan Kooser, at JCMac03. You can shoot us an email, nootherpod@gmail.com, if you want to get a hold of us that way. Leave us that 5-star rating and review, and make sure you check us out, KCSN Soccer on YouTube and via the KCSN app. But until next time, he's Dan. I'm Jimmy. We'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Insert funny comment.